All right, everybody. So welcome to this week's Mashup. So we just realized this is Mashup number 50.
I don't know how I snuck in on that.
That's awesome. I love it. It's so exciting. I can't believe we've done this for 50 weeks now. So that's pretty cool. So I'm actually really stoked to have a special guest this week, Mr. Doug Foley. Mr. Doug Foley, yeah,
from
Foley Media, also from Canada, which just immediately makes him a really nice guy.
Sorry.
Yeah, exactly. So this week, what we're talking about, actually we did a little podcast. We're here at Digital Marketers HQ and stealing their podcast booth for a little bit here. But we had a great conversation on his podcast, which is
The Happiness of Pursuit.
Is that Happiness of Pursuit is the website to get it at, or where do you find your
at
podcast?
douglasjfoley.com. But if you type in The Happiness of Pursuit next to Chris Gilbou's book, you'll find me.
Awesome. Nice. Cool. So fantastic. So we just did an episode of that, but we thought we'd do a quick mashup here and talk a little bit about sales process and some of that. So we had the opportunity to be at a workshop together yesterday, and Doug brought up a really great story. And I think this happens to so many agency owners and business owners as well. It's funny how we have early successes. We do certain things that work really well for our business. And then for some odd reason, we ditch them and start doing other things. So you talked a little bit about that yesterday and again today. So I was wondering if you mind sharing a little bit about like what contributed to some of your early success.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, one of the things I did well really early when I started to sell high ticket was I would focus in on the ROI. Because most agencies, it was really top level, like awareness, traffic, SEO. There's no real tangible results. So I drew a line in the sand, said, I'm going to focus in on the return. So they would stop thinking of what they spend on marketing as an expense and treat it more of an investment that should have a positive return. And, probably that's when I saw the most growth, but I got away from that. And, for those of you who are fans of digital marketer, I really just started to sell the CVJ and I started to neglect the importance behind the ROI. And I started losing sales or I'd get a lot of people coming back. It's like, oh, I don't know if I can afford it. And then yesterday when we went through, I was like, yeah, no wonder why. I got away from like one of the most fundamental principles of treating the marketing as an investment, not as an expense. And it was a huge, huge moment. I realized the mistake I'd made yesterday.
And I think it's such a common thing as business owners. Like we do stuff that worked for a little while, and then it's almost like, we try to test something out, but we change three other things at the same time. And then somehow along the way, we ditched the thing that was working and we didn't even realize it. And so I've talked about this in the last few weeks is we look at that revenue formula, which is, number of leads times your closing percentage multiplied by your average revenue per sale multiplied by whatever time frame you're looking at. That's your way to forecast revenue. That closing percentage piece is a critical piece. If you can move that number from what is the agency average of 11% to something much higher, even to 20%, let's say, that has a massive impact on that the end of that equation. And ROI, as Doug was talking about, is a big piece of that. If people don't understand what the ROI is for their business, then they're really not going to want to pay your fees. And like you said, they start getting pushback on your pricing because they're not seeing the massive problem that you're actually solving. And you gave an example because you work a lot with real estate agents.
Yeah, I was just going to say with real estate agents, I mean, for most of them, like I say, if we add, 2 or 3 more leads per month, for most, that might double their business, but even more profoundly, that pays for my retainer in the first month. And then everything else after is gravy for them. But again, like you get away from those simple fundamentals of the thing that's most important in making the decision.
So would you say it's important for a business, for an agency owner to take a look at ways that they can explain their ROI? Like you had that, like you looking at, your industry. So you're like, well, literally 2 leads will pay for my services. I guess it's a leading question, but it's probably
100%. Like you're 100% right. And I even working outside of real estate agents, like it was something I did well. I had a commercial plumber, same thing. Like we really took a look at how many clients would it need to get a positive return. He's like, well, if you give me a handful of clients, you'll pay for sales for 10 years. Ironically, that customer ended up firing me because he had too much business, which is an agency, like it's great and bad at the same time, but we built the system to look at that measurement, and that was one of my best clients. So like that principle as an agency, I think is the future of whether you're going to win or not, because business owners are getting smarter to the fact that it's not about leads. or sorry, it's not about just likes and views and traffic, which was okay 3 to 5 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's about the bottom line metrics. Are you delivering me sales results? If not, I'm going to go work for somebody else.
That's awesome. I love that. And it's okay to get fired by clients when you've done such a great job. That's another lesson learned from this one. So hopefully it gives you a testimonial to say I fired him because you were awesome.
Video testimony. He's a great guy.
Awesome.
Awesome.
Very cool. Well, thanks for joining me for episode number 50.
Thanks so much.
We're going to go pop champagne. Actually, we're not, because I don't think there's any here at Digital Marketer, but we might have a beer. So that'd be fun.
Works for me.
All right. Thanks so much for joining us. Talk to you soon.